Tables like this aren't for people like you. The words slid off Amelia Rothschild's tongue like a silk ribbon dipped in poison. It was loud enough to travel past the candlelight centerpieces, loud enough for the waitstaff refilling champagne flutes to pause mid-pour. Before we continue, where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. And if you believe in dignity and justice, hit like and subscribe. These stories spark change, and we're glad you're here. Now, back to Maya. She didn't flinch. Maya Jordan sat exactly where she'd been placed at the center of table 1, directly under the opulent crystal chandelier. The burnt orange dress she wore glowed under the warm light, the smooth satin catching gold highlights each time she shifted. A matching fabric belt hugged her waist, sharp lines against the soft drape of the skirt. Her hair, parted cleanly down the middle, was pulled into a low, immaculate knot. The gold chain around her neck caught the light with each turn of her head, but she wasn't moving much. Only her eyes shifted steady, deliberate, assessing the heiress across the table, as if filing away each syllable for later. A server froze beside them, eyes flicking between the two women. The tension in the air was no longer background, it was the music now. Amelia, 29, all diamonds and inherited confidence, leaned back in her chair, studying Maya as if she were a seating mistake. Her manicured fingers tapped the stem of her champagne flute. "Could you guide her to the general donors section?" she told a passing floor manager without looking away from Maya. The floor manager hesitated. "She's not with us," Amelia cut in, her smile sugar-sweet but her tone surgical. Maya's hand moved not toward her glass, but to the black clutch at her side. She didn't open it, didn't speak. Her stillness was the loudest thing in the room. Across the table, an older senator shifted uncomfortably. A young photographer, Leo, adjusted his lens, catching the frozen tableau in crisp, silent frames. Amelia's voice came again, this time higher, carrying. "It's awkward when uninvited guests show up at VIP tables." She glanced at her friend beside her, both laughing softly, the sound like crystal cracking. Maya set her clutch down, folded her hands on the linen, and looked at Amelia as though they were the only two people in the ballroom. Her gaze was level, patient, and just sharp enough to make Amelia's laughter stall for a half second. Somewhere at the far end of the hall, the MC's voice echoed faintly through the sound system, announcing the next performance. But here, at table 1, the real show had just begun, because Maya Jordan was not an uninvited guest. She was the largest single benefactor in the foundation's history, a $3 billion endowment her firm managed, unbeknownst to most in the room. That quiet fact had kept this very gala and the careers of everyone on its stage alive for years. And if Amelia thought she could humiliate her into leaving, she was about to learn what it meant when power sat quietly, watching. Tonight, Maya would let them write their own ending. She'd simply decide when to close the book. The next course was served, silver domes lifted with synchronized grace. But at table 1, no one touched their plates. Amelia's gaze flicked to Maya's clutch again, as if the small black rectangle might explain why this woman was sitting here. She leaned slightly toward her friend, voice pitched just enough to carry. "It's always awkward when security has to escort someone mid-event." The friend's eyes darted between them, then to the floor manager, who still lingered nearby like he was waiting for permission to act. The photographer, Leo, shifted position. His camera strap slid against the burnt orange satin as he passed behind Maya, close enough to catch the faint scent of her perfume, something warm, subtle, impossible to place. Maya didn't turn. Across the table, Senator Whitmore cleared his throat. "Perhaps this isn't the time or place." But Amelia cut him off. "It's exactly the time and place. Donor seating is for confirmed names." Her manicured hand reached forward. Without asking, she picked up the small ivory place card with Maya Jordan printed in gold script. She held it between two fingers, then let it drop onto the linen as if it were counterfeit. "She's not even on the list," Amelia announced, directing the words toward the floor manager. The man hesitated. "Ma'am, I'd need to confirm." "Confirm what?" Amelia's tone sharpened. "She's sitting where she doesn't belong." A soft murmur rose from two tables over. Guests had begun to notice. A woman in a sequin navy gown leaned to her date, whispering, "Who is she talking about?" Leo lifted his camera again. The lens found Maya's face still composed, a study in patience under fire. Then the floor manager stepped forward. "Miss, could I ask you to join me by the side entrance?" We'll get this sorted quietly." All eyes at table 1 turned to Maya. She smoothed the fabric at her waist with one hand, the burnt orange catching another arc of chandelier light. Slowly, she reached for her clutch, opened it just enough to slide her phone into her palm. 2 words left her lips, low enough that only the floor manager and Leo could hear. "Stand by." She set the clutch back down and looked at Amelia. "You seem certain about many things tonight." Amelia tilted her head, the smile returning. "I'm certain about what belongs here." "Oh," Maya's eyes held hers. "And I'm certain about what sustains here." The words were quiet, but something in the way she said them made Amelia blink, as if a shadow of doubt had passed across her certainty. At the far end of the ballroom, the MC's voice returned, asking guests to prepare for the live auction. But at this table, the bids had already begun, not in money, but in control. The live auctioneer's voice rolled over the ballroom like a warm tide, but at table 1, the air was razor thin. Amelia reached for her champagne, took a slow sip, then set the flute down with an audible click. "You know," she said, eyes locked on Maya, "people sometimes slip in with forged invitations. We've had incidents." The words were bait. Maya didn't take them. Instead, she adjusted her seating just enough for the satin skirt of her burnt orange dress to ripple under the light, a subtle wave of color against the white linen. Her posture stayed straight, her gaze steady. From the far side, Amelia's friend leaned in. "Should we just call security?" she whispered, loud enough for half the table to hear. "Already in motion," Amelia replied, lifting her phone. She tapped the screen, then nodded toward the floor manager. He hesitated, glancing at Senator Whitmore, who now looked like he wanted no part of what was unfolding. "Ma'am, I really think we should—" "Handle it," Amelia cut in, tone sharp enough to slice. Leo, the photographer, adjusted his camera again, angling past the floral centerpiece to capture the exchange. A low hum of curiosity spread to the nearest tables. Amelia reached forward suddenly, fingers brushing the black clutch beside Maya's plate. "What's in here?" she asked, faux, playful but with an edge. Maya placed her hand over the clutch, firm. "Not yours." Amelia's smile thinned. "Everything at this table belongs to the foundation." "No," Maya said evenly. "Everything at this table belongs to respect, and I don't see any of it in your hands." The smile broke. For the first time that evening, Amelia's composure cracked. She reached down, plucked Maya's ivory place card off the linen, and tossed it toward a passing server. "She's not even on the guest list," Amelia declared, louder this time, projecting toward the auctioneer's podium. The server froze mid-step, the card dangling awkwardly between his fingers. A man at the next table frowned. "Is this necessary?" he asked. Amelia turned her attention on him. "Yes, it's disruptive to have people here who don't belong." Leo's camera shutter snapped 3 quick times, the sound oddly loud under the low music. Maya rested her hands lightly in her lap, the gold chain at her neck catching a pinpoint of chandelier light. She inhaled slowly, then looked to the floor manager. "If you're going to move me, I suggest you confirm with the board first." Amelia let out a short laugh. "The board? They'll thank me." Unseen to most, Maya's thumb pressed a single command on her phone under the table. The screen lit briefly, then went dark. It was the smallest move in the room and the one that would soon flip it upside down. The server still stood frozen with Maya's place card in hand, caught between orders and uncertainty. At the edge of the table, the floor manager shifted his weight, eyes darting from Amelia to Maya and back again. Maya's phone was in her palm now, hidden under the tablecloth. One subtle tap, a command sent. 200 miles away, in a glass-walled office overlooking the Hudson, her executive assistant's screen lit up. Endowment protocol, active. Maya set the phone back into her clutch, folding the flap closed with slow precision. Then she raised her eyes to Amelia. "You seem very committed to removing me," she said, voice level, "but not nearly as committed to understanding why I'm here." Amelia tilted her chin. "I know why you're here. To be seen. To get close to power." Maya's lips curved not into a smile, but into something sharper. "Close to power?" She paused just long enough for the words to settle. "I am power." The table fell silent. Even the auctioneer's voice seemed distant now, like it belonged to another world. Across the table, Senator Whitmore's fork rested mid-air. Leo's camera lens didn't blink. Amelia waved a hand toward the floor manager. "Please, escort her." But he didn't move. His phone had just buzzed in his pocket. He glanced at the screen, reading something he didn't understand. Board alert. Immediate review. Maya leaned back slightly, the burnt orange satin catching a streak of gold from the chandelier. "You should check your messages," she told him, her tone as calm as if she were suggesting a wine pairing. He hesitated, then stepped away, phone in hand. "What's this?" Amelia demanded. "Consequence," Maya said. The word landed heavier than any insult had. At the far end of the ballroom, a woman in a black pantsuit slipped in through a side door, one of Maya's attorneys. She didn't approach the table yet. She didn't have to. Leo caught it all. The attorney's entrance, the floor manager's frown deepening, Amelia's confused glance over her shoulder. "Miss Rothschild," Maya said softly, "you've been measuring my worth by the wrong metrics all night. Dress, seat, guest list, the things that matter least." "And what matters most?" Amelia asked, trying for bravado but missing the mark. "Control of the resources you depend on," Maya answered. It wasn't loud, but it was enough. A ripple moved through the table, subtle but undeniable, the sense that something had shifted, that perhaps Amelia had just picked a fight with the wrong woman. Maya reached for her water glass, unhurried, as though she had all night. In truth, she didn't need more than a few minutes. By the time the auctioneer's hammer fell on the next lot, the real bidding war, the one for control of this room, would be over. The auctioneer's voice rose above the clink of silverware. "Ladies and gentlemen, prepare yourselves, this next lot is the centerpiece of the evening." Spotlights swept across the room, brushing past table one. Amelia straightened, preparing to bid. Maya stood. The movement was unhurried, deliberate. The burnt orange satin shifted with her, catching the light in molten waves. 100 eyes followed her as she stepped away from the table. The low knot of her hair was immaculate, a gold glint from her necklace marking each stride toward the stage. "Excuse me," the floor manager murmured as she passed, but Maya didn't break pace. The auctioneer glanced up mid-sentence, surprised. "Ma'am, the stage is—" Maya took the microphone. Not snatched, took. "Before you announce that number," she began, her voice filling the ballroom without needing to be loud, "you should subtract $3 billion from it." The murmur was instant, a ripple of confusion that spread to the furthest tables. "My firm," she continued, "is withdrawing our endowment, effective immediately." A pause. Gasps. At table one, Amelia's lips parted but no sound came. Maya turned, scanning the audience. "For years, we've quietly funded this foundation, underwriting the very galas where some feel comfortable questioning who belongs here." She let the words hang, her gaze returning to Amelia. "We don't measure worth by seat assignments or last names. We measure it by integrity." The auctioneer shifted awkwardly. The MC took a step forward, then stopped. The attorney in the black pantsuit moved closer to the stage, a thick folder in hand. "This," Maya said, nodding toward the attorney, "is formal notice to the board. The funds are frozen, the contract's terminated." Gasps deepened into whispers. Phones lit up across the room, screens glowing like tiny spotlights in the dim hall. Amelia stood now, color draining from her face. "You can't just—" "I can," Maya said, her tone like the closing of a vault door. "And I have." Leo's camera clicked in rapid succession, freezing the moment in crisp, merciless detail. The heiress caught mid-protest, the CEO in burnt orange standing under the chandelier's blaze. "This is not about revenge," Maya said, eyes sweeping the room. "It's about respect. And tonight, this room failed that measure." She set the microphone back in its stand. "Enjoy the rest of your evening." No raised voice, no dramatic flourish, just finality, clean, unshakable, irreversible. And then Maya Jordan walked off the stage, the rustle of her satin gown cutting through the stunned silence like a closing curtain. The microphone still hummed faintly as Maya stepped off the stage, her burnt orange gown gliding over the parquet floor. Behind her, the ballroom fractured. At table one, Amelia remained standing, one manicured hand gripping the back of her chair as though it could keep her upright. "Board members, we need to meet now," she stammered to no one in particular. Her friend touched her arm, whispering frantically, but Amelia shook her off. Across the room, Senator Whitmore pulled out his phone, scrolling through emails that had begun to flood in. $3 billion? Gone? He muttered under his breath, as if saying it aloud might make the number smaller. The floor manager stood frozen near the stage steps, holding a clipboard like a useless shield. His phone buzzed again, another board alert. He read the latest update, his Adam's apple bobbing as he swallowed hard. Clusters of guests turned in their chairs, some leaning over centerpieces to catch a better look at the woman now crossing the room toward the exit. The glow from the chandeliers seemed suddenly too bright, too revealing. The MC was speaking into his earpiece, voice tight. "Do we continue? Do we?" His eyes flicked to the stage, then to the board members gathered in a huddle by the back wall. Leo moved like a shadow through it all, camera clicking. He caught Amelia's pale face in one frame, a board member covering her mouth in the next, then the attorney in a black pantsuit handing over the thick folder to a man in a tuxedo, his expression the grim mask of someone realizing a bridge has just burned. The live auctioneer tried to salvage the moment. "Lot number 7, we have a—" But his voice faltered when no paddles rose. Near the coat check, 2 donors whispered in low, urgent tones. "If she pulls out, others will follow." "They already are," the other replied, holding up a phone displaying a text thread. "Withdrawing support. Effective immediately." By the dessert table, the head of catering checked his watch, muttering to a colleague, "If the gala folds tonight, we're not getting paid." Maya reached the double doors. The sound of the room followed her, a rising, discordant mix of whispers, hurried footsteps, and the sharp click of her own heels. She didn't look back. At the far end, Amelia finally moved, pushing past the floor manager. "Get her," she hissed, but it lacked conviction. Her voice was smaller now, swallowed by the larger noise of panic. In the wings, the attorney fell into step beside Maya, murmuring updates. "Board meeting already called, media requests pouring in." "Good," Maya replied. She adjusted the strap of her clutch, the gold chain at her neck catching one last glint from the chandelier before the doors closed behind her. Inside, the shatter continued. Out here, there was only the quiet click of her heels and the knowledge that the real dismantling had only just begun. The hotel's marble lobby was quiet compared to the chaos she'd left upstairs, but it wouldn't be quiet for long. A semicircle of reporters was already forming near the revolving doors, drawn by the sudden flurry of alerts lighting up their phones. Camera lights flared as Maya Jordan stepped into view, the burnt orange gown vivid against the white stone walls. "Miss Jordan, is it true you've withdrawn $3 billion from the foundation?" a voice called out. She didn't break stride until she reached the center of the space. Then she stopped, turning to face them fully. Her low ponytail was immaculate, her gold necklace catching every camera flash. "Yes," she said simply. "Effective as of 15 minutes ago." Microphones extended toward her. "Why?" Her gaze was steady. "Because respect is not optional, and tonight, the foundation failed to uphold it." She lifted a folded document from her clutch and handed it to her attorney, who stepped forward to read aloud. "Formal notice," the attorney began, her voice crisp, "of the immediate termination of the Jordan Capital Endowment Agreement with the Rothschild Foundation. Pursuant to Section 14.3, all allocated funds are to be returned in full within 30 days. Gasps and rapid typing filled the air. Maya's voice joined in, low but carrying. "For the record, the following board members have been informed of this action: Caroline Mercer, David Keene, Philip Rothschild, Elaine Tan, Henry Whitmore." With each name, the reporters leaned closer, recording every syllable. "This is not a negotiation," she continued. "It is the execution of a decision made the moment dignity was replaced with condescension in that ballroom." A reporter near the front raised his voice. "Do you expect retaliation from the board?" Maya's mouth curved into the faintest suggestion of a smile. "I expect them to read the contracts they signed." And behind her, the attorney closed the folder with a final, resonant snap. Another question came. "Miss Jordan, do you see this as a personal dispute with Amelia Rothschild?" Maya's eyes narrowed slightly, but her tone stayed even. "Number, this is bigger than one person." But tonight, she became the face of a problem the foundation can no longer afford to ignore. The camera shutters were relentless now, strobing white against the polished floor. Maya glanced toward the glass doors where a black sedan had just pulled up. "Gentlemen, ladies, you have your statement. Good evening." And with that, she walked through the revolving door, the hem of her satin gown sweeping over the marble like a final signature. Inside, the reporters were already on their phones, their voices overlapping. "Confirmed, $3 billion, immediate termination." Outside, Under the cool night air, Maya slid into the waiting car. The door closed, muting the noise, sealing the moment. The strike had landed. The sedan hadn't moved yet. Through the tinted glass, Maya could see the lobby doors swing open. Amelia emerged, heels striking too fast against marble. Her diamond-studded clutch clutched like a lifeline. Her eyes scanned the street until they locked on the black car. She strode forward, ignoring the calls from reporters trailing her. The driver glanced toward Maya, waiting for a cue. Maya lifted a hand, wait. The rear door opened, and Amelia leaned in, her voice tight. You didn't have to do this. Maya sat composed, one arm resting lightly on the seat, the burnt orange satin smooth over her legs. Didn't I? This was supposed to be a celebration, for the foundation, for those it claims to serve? Maya's tone cut clean through Amelia's words. Tell me, Amelia, how many of them would have a seat at your table if they walked in wearing what I did tonight? Amelia's mouth opened, then closed. Her silence was an answer. Maya continued, her voice steady. You measured my worth by my dress, my seat, my name card. I measured yours by your actions. She leaned forward slightly, the gold chain at her neck catching the streetlight, and I found it bankrupt. Amelia flinched, but tried for defiance. You think you can just walk away and... I don't think, Maya said, her gaze locking on hers. I know. Behind them, camera flashes lit the lobby windows reporters, capturing every fragment of this exchange through the glass. Maya's hand moved to the door handle. You have 30 days to return what remains of the endowment. Use them wisely. Amelia's voice faltered. And if we don't? Maya's expression didn't change. Then the courtrooms will decide how much more you lose. Oh. The driver cleared his throat softly. Maya leaned back, signaling she was done. Amelia stepped away from the car, the night air sharp against her bare shoulders. She watched as the sedan pulled from the curb, taillights glowing like embers fading into the distance. Inside, Maya's phone buzzed. A text from her assistant. Media coverage trending, public support rising fast. Maya glanced once out the rear window, then forward again. The city lights slid past, their reflections dancing over the satin folds of her gown. She didn't smile. She didn't need to. The last word was hers, and the echo of it would linger far longer than this night. By morning, the city was already speaking her name. On the newsstand outside a midtown cafe, the Daily Ledger blared, CEO pulls $3 billion over Gala insult. Beneath it, a freeze frame of Maya under the chandelier, microphone in hand, eyes locked on Amelia Rothschild. Inside the cafe, the televisions were tuned to different networks, all looping the same clip of her calm declaration. Respect is not optional. At a corner table, two young women scrolled through their phones. She didn't even raise her voice, one said, shaking her head in awe. Didn't have to, the other replied. That's power. In an office, 3 states away, a nonprofit director replayed the video for her staff. This, she said, pointing at the paused frame of Maya walking off the stage, is why we set boundaries with donors. She just set the gold standard. On social media, hashtags spread like brush fire. Number Maya Jordan. Number respect is not optional. Number endowment protocol. Clips of the moment Amelia tossed the place card trended alongside side-by-side stills of Maya's unflinching stare. Leo, the photographer from the Gala, posted his shots just after sunrise. The series told the whole story without a single caption from the first tense exchange at Table 1 to Maya stepping into the black sedan. Within hours, the images had been shared millions of times. Even in the Rothschild Foundation's own offices, the mood had shifted. Staff huddled in corridors, whispering about resignation letters and donor withdrawals. A junior coordinator scrolled her phone, showing a colleague a comment thread. If they treated her like that in public, imagine what happens behind closed doors. By mid-afternoon, financial analysts were on cable news, debating the fallout. $3 billion is not just a hole in their budget, one expert said. It's a signal to every other major benefactor. The reputational cost is immeasurable. End quote. And then came the community voices, pastors, educators, small business owners seizing the moment to talk about dignity in every sphere, not just high society galas. One pastor's Sunday sermon streamed online quoted Maya directly. We measure worth by integrity. Through it all, Maya stayed silent. No interviews, No statements beyond the one she'd given in the lobby. Her phone buzzed with media requests, but she let them sit unanswered. In the quiet of her penthouse office that evening, she stood by the window, the city spread out in glittering lines below. On her desk lay a single newspaper, folded to the photograph of her in burnt orange under the chandelier's blaze. She traced the edge of the image with one finger, then closed the paper and set it aside. Outside, the night deepened, and the echo of her actions kept moving far beyond that ballroom, far beyond her own story. The point had been made, and it was still being heard. 2 nights later, the story had taken on a life of its own, told, retold, and reshaped by the people who had been in that ballroom when it happened. At a small bistro downtown, Leo, the photographer, sat across from a podcast host, a steaming mug of coffee between them. The mic picked up his voice clearly. "I've covered a lot of galas," he said, "but I've never seen someone hold a room like that." She didn't flinch once, not when Amelia grabbed her place card, not when the floor manager stepped forward. She just waited, like she already knew how it would end. Listeners would later say they could hear the click of his camera in his voice. Across the city, Senator Whitmore was cornered by a local reporter as he left a meeting. "Was Miss Jordan on the guest list?" the reporter asked. "Yes," Whitmore replied without hesitation. "And not just on it, she's been the backbone of the foundation for years. What happened was shameful." His words, clipped and serious, ran on the evening news, adding a layer of official weight to the narrative. Meanwhile, the floor manager from that night was speaking quietly to a friend in a park. "I got the board alert on my phone while I was standing right there," he said, tapping his pocket. "That's when I realized she wasn't bluffing. That was real power moving in real time." Even Amelia's friend, the one who'd sat beside her at table 1, found herself speaking into a microphone after a charity luncheon. "I thought it was just social posturing at first," she admitted. "But when Maya looked at Amelia and said, 'I am power,' I felt it. And I knew we were watching something we'd remember." On social media, clips from these witness accounts began to merge with the original footage, creating a mosaic of perspectives. One popular edit cut between Leo's photographs, Whitmore's confirmation, and the floor manager's quiet confession, overlaid with Maya's own voice from the gala, "Respect is not optional." The comments section became its own forum. Strangers debated the etiquette of high society events, the optics of public withdrawal, and most of all, the double standards at play when a black woman holds the kind of wealth and influence Maya did. In a late-night radio segment, the host summed it up simply, "What happened at that table wasn't just about a chair or a name card. It was about who gets to decide who belongs." And Maya Jordan decided it wasn't going to be Amelia Rothschild. Through all of it, Maya remained silent, her absence from the public conversation only amplifying the voices of those who had been there. They were carrying the story now, and in their telling, the power of the moment didn't fade. It grew. 3 days after the gala, the Rothschild Foundation's boardroom was nothing like its usual air of control. The long mahogany table was crowded with papers, open laptops, and half-empty coffee cups. Outside the glass walls, assistants moved like shadows, their faces tight. Inside, the 12 board members sat in various states of agitation. Elaine Tan, vice chair, slammed a printout onto the table. "We've lost 4 more major donors in 48 hours. Total withdrawal to date nearly $5, $2 billion in committed funds." David Keene rubbed his temples. "And the press isn't letting it go. Every interview request is a trap. They want blood." Philip Rothschild, the patriarch himself, sat rigid at the head of the table. "We need to contain this." His voice was gravel, but there was a strain in it no one had heard before. A junior member cleared his throat. "So the problem is, this isn't just a funding gap. This is reputational collapse. The narrative is that we humiliated the single biggest benefactor we've ever had." Elaine leaned forward. "And the narrative is winning." On the wall-mounted screen, headlines scrolled in real time. Maya Jordan Stan sparks donor exodus. Respect is not optional. CEO's words ripple through philanthropy. Board in crisis, after $3 billion withdrawal. Philip turned to Henry Whitmore, the only board member who'd spoken publicly in Maya's defense. "You gave her legitimacy in the press." Henry didn't flinch. "She didn't need me to give her legitimacy. She already had it. I told the truth." An uncomfortable silence followed. From the far end of the table, Caroline Mercer spoke for the first time. There's talk of her starting her own foundation. If she does, we won't just lose donors, we'll lose the mission entirely. The people who believe in her will follow. David leaned back, exhaling sharply. She has the capital, the network, and now the public sympathy. She could build something bigger than us in a year. Philip's jaw tightened. Then we need to reach her. Make amends. Elaine shook her head. You think she wants amends? She made her statement. The doors closed. Outside the glass, an assistant pressed a note to the window for Elaine. She read it, then paled. It's from legal. Maya's team just filed for full audit of all expenditures tied to her endowment. The words landed like a hammer. Philip closed his eyes for a moment, then opened them again, hard. Then, prepare for war, quietly. But the room knew there was nothing quiet left about this. 2 months later, the ballroom was hers. Not the Rothschilds' gilt and crystal hall, but a restored train depot in Harlem brick walls, warm with uplighting, polished wood floors gleaming under Art Deco fixtures, where tracks once carried steel and steam, now rows of round tables stretched beneath a vaulted ceiling. At the center of it all, a new banner, the Jordan Foundation, Integrity in Action. Maya stood on a low stage, the burnt orange gown replaced by a tailored suit of the same rich hue. Her hair was still pulled into the immaculate low knot, gold chain at her neck catching the soft light. Around her sat community leaders, educators, artists, entrepreneurs, many in attire that would have been dismissed at the old Gala's door. Here, they were honored guests. Leo was there, camera in hand again. His shots tonight caught joy instead of tension, hands clasped in conversation, plates shared, children in their Sunday best laughing under the chandeliers. Maya stepped to the microphone. 2 months ago, I was told there were tables I didn't belong at, she began, her voice calm but resonant. So I built my own. Applause swelled, warm and unforced. This foundation, she continued, will measure worth by contribution, not by last name or net worth. We will fund what matters without asking who sits where. She paused, letting her eyes sweep the room. The front tables were filled with people who had once been overlooked, now leaning forward, listening. To those who tried to make me small, Maya said, thank you. You reminded me to think bigger. To those who stood with me, thank you for proving that respect is not optional, it is foundational. Her gaze found Leo at the edge of the crowd. The camera clicked, capturing the moment, not the challenge of standing alone, but the triumph of standing together. And to the next generation, she finished. When someone tells you there's no seat for you, don't fight for theirs. Build your own table and make it longer than you think you need. You'll be surprised who comes to sit. The applause was immediate, rising to a standing ovation. In a far corner, a television crew caught the entire speech live. By morning, the clip would join the one from the old Gala in the public consciousness, the insult and the answer, side by side. Maya stepped down from the stage, moving through the crowd, shaking hands, listening. The music swelled not the brittle strains of a string quartet, but the full, layered warmth of a jazz ensemble. And somewhere in the noise, you could almost hear the sound of a door closing in that old, gilded ballroom, and another one opening here.